There you go.
My dear customer number two, I'm so happy to have you.
There you go. Me too. I'm so happy to be part of your network now.
Excellent. I'm so excited. So, can you say quickly what is that you're looking after?
Absolutely. So I'm here. My name is Amadou, and I'm looking after specialists in project management who will assist me, coach, and mentor me into this endeavor that I have to perform in a situation that I would like to be hired in a project management startup. So I would like to meet the requirements that's been asked by the company, and I was looking for the best mentorship in order for me to be suitably prepared. That's what I'm here for today.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm happy to be here and I'm going to share my knowledge and expertise. And it's a collaborative event today. Now, one thing we just need to understand is about the documentations when you share this, because we are recording this.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not sure how that will work in terms
yeah,
of the confidentiality, whether those information are
yeah,
allowed to be recorded or not, and things like that. That
yeah,
you need to check that. You need to check that before sharing.
exactly.
But in general, what we will do now today, I understand there is a client side presentation to be prepared by Amado, and I am here to help him with this process of how to prepare the content in a way that it's presentable to the client. Now, let's forget the recording. Let's imagine that the recording doesn't go because we don't want to make a show. We want to make the
Exactly.
yeah
Real.
yeah. So what happens is, Madhu, the important part is you need to put yourself first place on the
Okay.
shoes of the audience.
Okay.
So you need to be audience oriented. We in academia in general and in theoretical things, we always go through the content and the presenter mode. We say that, okay, this is about this is about this. So the way we flow the information, we make the information presented, it's a presenter mode. It's not receiver mode.
More. Okay.
Now, when you want to make that happen, what is the difference here? What is the main difference? We need to find what is the client is actually looking after to understand. So we will make that information short. We shortlist that pieces of information, and then
Okay.
we start to emphasize on things. We start
Okay.
to emphasize on things.
Okay.
Now, I prepared a little presentation about this part. There is this three kind of mistakes. Typically, they don't understand it, the subject.
Mm-hmm.
The discussion becomes not clear what is the main point. So you need to be able to put in the main point. It becomes boring, and then the contents become vague, and you give a lot of um, blah blah buzzwords and marketing discussions, which is not what an audience really appreciates in that sense.
Exactly.
Then there is the misunderstanding that you say something, they understand something else,
Something
or
else.
understand it completely different. So you need to make sure that we don't go that route as well. And then from the different of what they expect. Now, in your case, what does the customer expect? Do we know? That's the question.
That's a question.
Do
Okay.
we know? Now, if you want to say what does the customer expect as part of the presentation, we
Mm-hmm.
will be able first to go and write in the presentation, what does the expectation of the customer is? What is it? So we write it out.
Okay.
So we make sure we have the expectation set. It expects this and this to be clear, for example.
Okay.
The launch, for example, the launch date. It expects to know when it needs to be involved into certain actions. It needs to know what assumptions are there and how you have made them. You get the point?
Yeah, I get it.
Know what are the next practical steps, what are
Steps.
the next steps you need to take. So one of the good presentations, when you make a presentation, it's to make sure that we are not just talking and good design and nice, and we add the logic. So we are not making it presenter oriented, we are making it listener oriented.
Mm.
You understand? So the logic is, instead of going to eloquent speaking and the format of the
Mm-hmm.
presentation, We
Mm-hmm.
actually going to work on this 10% of the logic and make
Yes.
30%. The speaking is 20%. The information visibility, framing, and the logical flow of the content is what actually matters.
Yes.
So this is becoming listener oriented.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the components of this is now we have a big PDF file as part of your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
This big PDF file, it has a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to frame it, we want to give it a logical flow in the PowerPoint presentation and give it to the client and present it to the client.
Yes. Yes.
So that is what we want to do.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to think about how we're going to say it? Not really. How does
No.
it look? Not really. What are we going to focus is information visibility,
Visibility.
framing it, and the logical flow. So
Okay.
these are the three things we will be focusing in today's session after the 20 minutes first initial presentation I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the logical flow is the reason one, reason two, and conclusion. You see the point?
Yeah.
So this is the logical flow that we create. So now we create this logical flow when we're looking at it. We say conclusion. This is it. Why? This reason, and this reason. Why this reason? We give facts.
Oh.
Instead of saying because of the summer we are having holidays, we are having
Oh.
holidays because it's summer. So you
Exactly.
take the way you're
Exactly.
thinking about
Y-
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you first put your conclusion. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
this is the conclusion. We are going to launch in first week of August.
Yeah.
Why? Because the for example grapes are at their best state. Okay, that's
Perfect.
why, because they have received enough sunlight. Why? Because they have been receiving enough water. So you go to facts. How much water
Exactly.
did they receive? This much. How much sunlight did they receive? This much.
This
So
much.
so you frame
Okay.
it this way. So if the
Okay.
person wants more information, you as a presenter need to frame it in this logical flow. Do you understand the
Okay.
point? So
Okay.
when you are creating the presentation, you are creating a logical flow for it.
Perfect.
And then you frame it. You bring it from one area. Okay, so when you want to give a story, you want to present it as a conclusion, and then you start giving reasons and evidences. Then you have counter logic. You have a reason and then you have a counter logic.
Mm-hmm.
Then you say, okay, if there is no sunlight, there will be bad grapes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
get bad grapes if there is no direct sunlight, and the evidence is this, for example, grapes that have been under the shade.
Yeah.
So you can actually give an additional logic. Sometimes it's not necessarily, we don't
Yes. Okay. Okay.
need to go as much as is necessary. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and give the counter logic against the same conclusion. So
Gotcha.
don't go with only one side of the
Of the
logic.
story. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually, I always have it in discussions. If you want to say what you do, what is the best way to say it? For example, do you have any ideas?
If I want to say something, what would be the best
What
way?
what do you do? For example, you are in a project team meeting.
Uh
You want
huh.
to say that you are a company doing this, for instance. Okay, I always put it this as a recommendation. Create a slide and say that we are not going to do this. So you remove a set of assumptions from the people. So if you say the people that, for example, you are not going to do this, then they understand it.
Oh.
You are not doing, for example, this part of work. You are just going to do that part of work. You make it
Oh.
clear.
Okay.
So what
Okay.
you are not what you are. So that's a counter argumentation in here.
Okay. 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 I
That's my
understand
point.
now. Yeah.
So this way we will be able to say stories, and by storytelling you can actually help. And do you know why humans became innovative and civilized? What was the skill that made humans civilized during history?
Is not a fire?
No, no. The reason humans were actually civilized and became societies and all the communities and all the innovations, to my
Mm-hmm.
point of view, is that they were able to give stories to each other, being storytellers around the world.
This
So from
storyteller. Yeah,
the
yeah,
age, they started to paint stories. The Lion King. And then we had prophets and we have religions, and
yeah.
all of them are nothing but stories. So
Storytelling.
humans
Agreed.
are different to animals because they have this capability of giving stories to each other. So if you want to make the message being delivered better, to focus on giving the audience a good story.
There you go. I
So
love it.
you are presenting it, when you are now preparing it, you have a big book.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about it. You have a big book and you want to put it in a slide. The best way you put it, that you create a story for it.
Gotcha. The
Now you
frame.
want to say assumptions. All right, gentlemen, we are here in this meeting, New York Wall Street, for example, and I'm going to present you and I'm going to tell you what we are not. Let's not assume this, and this, and make it fun, make it listenable, make it
Okay.
that they enjoy listening and grabbing their attention.
Yes.
The point. So you want to have engaged audience. You want to have the people listening to what you're saying. But if you fall off track and you stop being creating a story,
A
giving
story?
stories that they relate and has the logical flow, believe me, less
That
than a
will.
minute, they are off the
Yeah.
attention span.
Yeah.
That's the end of the.
Agreed.
So when you frame it, the meaning of teamwork, this is the text. You can have this,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
This says the process of working, blah, 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 to achieve a goal. But then this can be summarized sometimes with one picture.
Picture.
So to be, people like pictures and more than the text.
Well, yeah.
Put it as a picture, they actually attract it. They connect to it. They understand it. That's why we have all these kind of diagrams. That's why we have all these kind of presentations and PowerPoints. The same content is inside that document that you already have. But the idea in here is to point out the most important part of that document, nothing else.
Yes.
Do you see the point?
Yes.
Instead of going and saying, okay, the information is there, you can go digest it. You as a project manager, you are in charge to go and digest it for them.
For
Chew it.
them.
That's your
Yes. Yeah.
that's your job, to make sure everybody on a team understands everything.
Exactly.
Communication. But the reality is people have a good tendency to not understand.
That's true.
Believe me, I have
Yeah.
a, remember, you got to tell the same thing, repeat and
To
repeat.
repeat. Yeah.
So the better the story you have, the easier you can actually relate to that story, the better you can deliver it over and over and over again. Start of a project, you need to give the story.
That's true.
A week in the project, you need to give the same story again. 2 weeks after the project start, you need to give the same story again.
Sorry again.
In a year time of the
This.
project, you need to say the same story again. So you as a project manager are in charge of conveying the message repeatedly, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't be pissed off by the fact
Oh.
that people have a good tendency to forget or perceive
Yes.
things the way they like. That's the nature of people.
Yeah.
That's how they perceive things. So you cannot change it. But one thing you can do, you can remind them. You can
Yeah.
remind them.
Agreed.
So the framing and content is very important, and this is what I wanted to emphasize here: information visibility, because your job as part of that presentation would be to
Okay.
help people understand easily and fast. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
we have a big fat document. We want to convert it to a presentation. So we have ambiguity. The person is sitting there. It's dear client. That dear client has a lot of ambiguity. So the first step of what we will do after the break
Mm-hmm.
will be to start to create clarity, the
Yeah.
clarification of the information. Then we organize it. So the information, we want to bring it here. We organize it. Then we put emphasizes on it. Simple. And then at the end, we make emphasizes. Those emphasize points, we put it in the presentation
Yes.
as the center points of items you want to put. And
Perfect.
then you come back and say, okay, this has emphasizes on this part we need to create. Now, For example, you have one slide about assumptions, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which assumptions we need to emphasize. This is
Exactly.
what we need to work on. So when you think about it, how you want to do this document on the presentation, we will walk through
Oh,
in the next.
exactly.
We grab a piece of information, we decompose its ambiguity, we try to organize it, put emphasizes, and make more emphasis on it by
Yeah.
making things bold and stand out.
Exactly.
Believe me, a good presentation is nothing but having visible information in it. So you
Exactly.
make the information visible, people will love the presentation. No way that
Perfect.
they won't like it. I can put my neck on the table, believe me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And real competitiveness is well organized, interesting storytelling.
Storytelling.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And the simplicity. We don't need to punch in all the information on the presentation. We just need to put punch points, this, and this, and convey the message. So you need to have the message, first place, understand the message, make it brief, and punch it in the
Yeah.
right direction to the customer, and repeat that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So this was the first part I was thinking to show
Yeah.
you first. Yeah,
Please.
I didn't want to discuss more. Let's not go towards the constraints about the deliverables. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to go on this, and we just can simply go with this slide. The
Yeah.
high slide for you will be having simplicity. So
Yeah.
today's objectives is to create simplicity,
Hmm.
perfect understanding,
Yeah.
create visibility, big size of fonts and images, easy writing, and storytelling with logic and context. Do
Excellent.
you have any questions about what we're going to do in the post break? Let's put it after the break.
If I have any question, you said,
Yeah, if you have questions about the logic of the way we're going to do it.
like this was very clear, and I have to be honest. I have not even dove in this side of the things. For me, my vision was more practical, but the approach that you have right now mm, adds a layer of like understanding of what is asked to be done. Because like I come with a little anguish of trying to do good, not knowing the practice of it. The way you show it like this actually align with a lot of things that we learn into training.
Mhm.
And I like this approach better than
Okay,
the one that I had predefined in my mind. And I'm going forward now with the blank slate, a
good.
white canvas. And I really wanted to adopt this methodology in order for me to build what I need to build. And not even that,
Mhm.
beyond that interview, I really want to keep that way of
Oh,
doing things.
definitely. So this will help you in that sense. And
Yeah,
during the next part, we will actually go to the practical part,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
and you will open up the document,
exactly.
and I will be helping you while you are creating it.
Creating that perfect.
I will be helping you and guiding you during the next hour or so when we are
Exactly.
working on this project to
Yeah.
finalize it and then make you ready to be doing the best
Good to
presentation.
go. Thank you so much. So I
Well,
guess I click on the same link in 30 minutes, or is it going to be another one?
I can create another one. I think once I close this, this will be over, and then I need to create a new one.
Thank you so much. So I will meet you in 30 minutes then.
And check one thing about the confidentiality of the document, whether we can
Yes.
work on the second part as well or
Yeah.
not.
I would tell you as soon as I connect back.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. Thank you very much, and talk to
You
you
too.
later.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.